Well, as you may know, we have a budding, thriving female loser epidemic. And let's get some opinions from the female side of things.
This is a PSA for all my women out there who are like, oh my God, I'm gonna switch teams because I can't with men. Listen, okay? We are not any better, okay? If anything, we are 10 times more crazy, more psycho, and I will tell you a story. Okay? Okay, here we go. There was a girl, a woman, okay? A woman who was in love with me. Well, I'm just gonna call it like it is, okay? Who was in love with me. It was not a mutual feeling, okay? So, we stopped talking. She got rid of my number. I got rid of her number. Done, right? Thought we were good. Well, my bleeding heart, was like, okay, we can be friends. When she reached out, I was like, we can be friends, but that's it. That is it. And I didn't want to give her my number. Okay? Keep that in mind. I didn't want to give her my number. And keep in mind that she deleted my number, so she did not have my number. She kept asking for my number, okay? She went online and Googled me, found a number that said it was associated with me, texted it, okay? It was like, hey, with like a winky face, okay? She didn't tell me this. Well, my mom calls me like a couple days later and she's like, hey, do you know who this is? And I'm like, no. And so I start typing the phone number into my phone, and on iPhones it has maybe da-da-da-da-da. This girl done texted my mother. She done texted my mother, okay? Yeah. Okay? So next time you think about wanting to switch teams, I want you to remember this story, okay? Remember that they will go and they will text your mom, okay? We will text your mom. We will text your mom. Not me, but women, okay? We'll text your mom. So don't come over to this side just because that side's bad, okay? Stay in your field, okay? And we'll stay in ours. Yeah, texted my mom. I'll never, my family will never let me live that one down. Anytime they can crack that shit in, they do. They do, okay? They do.
I have to say, I feel sorry for some of you men out there in the dating world because it is 2025. I'm a 38-year-old female, and these women out here even confuse me. Some women out here putting Jesus in their bio, but then you go look at their stuff and it's nothing but thirst traps, lustful, seductive content. The modern day woman calls serving your husband oppression, but yet will have no problem going out and serving a male boss and cry that that's empowerment. And real feminine energy is not sexual marketing like the modern day woman might tell you. Y'all are getting seduction and femininity completely confused. And I've said it before, but a lot of women have this long laundry list of unrealistic criteria that they want in a man, but yet they bring nothing to the table. And we don't talk about that. We tell the women, no, you are a queen, you will be treated as such, but we're not teaching women how to be wives these days. And I would go out on a limb and say that most of the women out in the modern day dating culture do not actually have standards. They have entitlement and accountability, a woman's kryptonite. Some of you ladies are going to die alone, still blaming men for the choices that you made.
All right, so there's this discussion going around about women who have boyfriends. It's becoming embarrassing to say that you have a boyfriend or have a man or a husband nowadays because people are somehow turned off or offended by that. And it's really getting crazy out here. It's just another tactic to use to try to keep women single, in my opinion, to try to make women feel bad for having a man, and I said this before, you can't even come on social media and talk or say anything good about your husband, about your man, because some single, bitter Bonnet Crew member will get in her feelings and be mad about it And because she don't want to hear anybody else talking good about their spouse and their relationship because she doesn't have one. Because in my opinion, at the bottom line to all of this is there's some miserable independent boss chick somewhere mad at the fact that she doesn't have a stable relationship. So she hates to see somebody else happy, because there are a lot of bitter women out here who are single and just bitter, claiming that they don't need a man, but secretly want one. And because they can't get what they want, they don't want to see anybody else with it. That's just my take on it. And I just think it's just sad. And you got to be out of your goddamn mind to sit there and believe and let these people ruin and run your life. Because if you sit back and you listen to this rhetoric, you will find yourself listening to that or feeling some type of way about it and minimizing what you have going on. And I think that's ridiculous. If you are happy in your relationship, don't minimize the goddamn thing. Be happy about what you are living, and don't be afraid to share how you feel about your man, your relationship, if you got a good thing. Because guess what? If they had it, they wouldn't hesitate to do it. They wouldn't give a shit about what anybody else is saying. But because they don't have it, then they got to create a narrative to make them feel comfortable and good about the fact that they don't have what somebody else has. Some women are married to good men and have good relationships, and they love their spouses, and they're thriving and they're glowing and growing and having a good time. Just some of y'all are bitter and mad because you don't have it. You can't see that other side of it, and you don't want to see it because you ain't got it.
So I just came across this young lady, and she's upset because she just turned 30, and her dating options are drawn up like this chow mein. Listen, let me explain how this goes. Ladies, if you play around in your 20s, when you are your most fertile, when you have your most beauty, when your body is in the best shape, when your face is in its best shape, when you have the most leverage to get what you want in dating, and you mess around in your 20s, you don't get married. You get to your 30s, your options drastically decrease. Now, she's saying in this video that she is not lowering her standards, but now things that she thought were a negative, she now sees as a positive. I like how she put that, because what do you mean, man? You're talking about dudes that have multiple kids with multiple baby mamas, their father, their family man? Is that what you're talking about? You're talking about dudes that are unemployed, who are starting a rap career, they're ambitious, they have talent? Is that what you're talking about? Because I don't understand what that means. Yes, as you get older, your options, ladies, will change. They will not be as robust in their 30s as they are in their 20s for marriage. Can you get your cheeks clapped? Yes, you absolutely can get your cheeks clapped until you're 99 and a half years old. You could be on your bed on the way to glory, and the male nurse will whisper in your ear, "Go ahead, let me hit that thing one more time before you go to Jesus." But that doesn't mean marriage. That doesn't mean providership. That doesn't mean companionship. It doesn't mean any of those things. Okay? You got it?
So really, as Don P is saying here, they spent their time in their younger years. We say in your 20s, but honestly, if we're being completely real about this, some of these young ladies were in high school. They were 12, 13, 14, playing games, asking men for $100 to take care of their nails or a Temu order, what have you, instead of getting their books, finding a PE class to go to, or some other productive extracurricular activity to get involved in, or embracing young love, puppy love, as the old timers used to call it, where they find somebody that they like. Maybe they date them. Oh, it didn't work out, but we're still friends. It wasn't anything serious. Instead, they're trying to act like grown women, loser women, and they're growing up this way, acting crazy. And now, when they reach 20, 25, 30, 35, we get the high earning careers, the high fashion, driving the high class cars, and still lonely. 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 I'm Mrs. Lonely.
So I heard about this relationship coach that quit due to all of these unrealistic demands that many women have brought to her. And the reason why she quit was because there was no way she could make any of these women happy. Now, mind you, I've said this in the past. There is no way you could demand so many things from a man that you are not even demanding for yourself. You do understand that the reflection of who you are, the reflection of who you are is what you are going to attract. You get that, right? No? Let me break it down to you. You should not be asking from any man as a woman all of these things that you don't have yourself, including the job, including the salary, including clothing, designer clothing, including the car that he drives, including the house that he has, where he lives, how he lives. The list goes on. Ladies, please, I am telling you this right off the rip. I know that there are some men out there that all they want to do is be the man with the money. You know why they say this? Because majority of you women, that's all you are looking for is for the man with the money. So that is all they are focused on, is getting to the bag. What happened to relationships where you got with someone because you actually like them for who they are? And yeah, you need that security, no problem. But make sure you're secure yourself. Make sure that you have the house, that you have the car, you have the bank account. So if anything was to ever go left, you can take care of that man. Because it takes two, not just one. It takes two. Really self-reflect and look at all of the reasons why you truly want to be in a relationship today, right now, if that is something that you want to do. That is all I'm saying. So you could demand all of these things from these men, but imagine if these men were demanding all of these things from you. Really think about that and be mature about it.
Because I've dated men and I've dated women. After having a serious girlfriend, I've literally reached out to exes and apologized to them. Because
I love that.
I saw the worst version of myself.
That.
Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like, you're over here and I'm just trying to get dressed.
Hearing this young woman saying that, you know, it took her to date a girl, have a serious girlfriend. I guess she was the boyfriend in the situation. That it took her to see that women were the problem. You seen that with that queen maker lady. Now she advocating on men's rights. And like I said, it's hard for women to put themselves in men's shoes. They only see things from their point of view. They don't see when they're wrong. Everybody get them benefit of the doubt throughout life. When they make mistakes, it's always bailouts. For men, we learn early. When we go from a child to teenager, we get treated totally different. We go from 12 to 13, life changes. No more birthday parties, no more this, that, and the third. We men. Why you ain't working, nigga? Why you ain't going to school? You know, so we have to deal with the harsh reality early in life that it is no help or backup plan for us. We got to get it how we live. For women, you know, and that's why it benefits us long time. Women, you know, they get, you know, handled with kid gloves until they hit that wall and they beauty and they age where there's no excuse no more. And then they got to deal with their consequences and there's no more bailout. So, yeah, it's sad that has to happen for women to see that they are difficult to deal with. And, you know, I always preach character, temperament with women. But let me know what y'all think.
If you're a woman who dates women and has also dated men, I'm curious to know if this is your experience. So I was married to a man and had kids in my early 20s and then started dating women after the fact. And I've noticed that women who exclusively dated men and then switched to dating women, at first when they're all like excited about it and hyped up, they're like, women try so much harder, and they list like all of those benefits. Some of them super valid, maybe all of them are valid, but I will say that hasn't been my experience. By the time I started dating women or talking to women, I was already somewhat established on TikTok. I had a presence within the queer community, and so I had only talked to women who were influencers or creators or were well known in the world. And there's very much like a different attitude. So like, because they're opening up their phone and have like a million options, I think it's just more of like I don't know, like, not a lot of them made an effort. There are a few, and there are a few times where some of them made an effort. But it doesn't compare to, I think, the amount of dedication that I've gotten from, like, men trying to pursue and date me. I think what it is probably largely is that there's a different level of understanding and comfort with women, and so maybe we can see their effort differently, or maybe that truly is people's experiences. Like, maybe they were dating men who just, like, didn't try that hard, and then the women did. Totally fair, could be the case. But I don't know, I just don't know if that's fully, like, a gendered thing. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm the first person to shit on men. Like, I have not had good experiences with the gender as a whole. However, I just think, like, the lesbian community can be kind of fuckboyish. Not all of it. I am dating somebody now and it's wonderful. But, like, it can be.
Sweetheart, women are way more lonelier than men. This is why women stay in toxic, abusive relationships, because they're afraid to be alone. I will always use this photo as a reference photo. Like there is a woman who had a baby with this. Okay? Was in a relationship. Cheated on her and everything, according to her. And I pulled this picture off of Twitter when someone went viral talking about post your baby daddy so we could fight him. And people in the comments were like, oh no, honey, delete this photo, because you let this get on top of you, put a baby up in you, and play in your face. Now, some of the jokes was like, can he cook? Did he gain weight after y'all got together? But no, like, women are way more lonely. That's why they share peen with the neighborhood. This is why they stay in relationships knowing that this dude ain't shit, will never amount to shit, will never be shit. This is why they will let a guy drive her car, have access to her bank account, live in her house rent-free, don't even contribute to the relationship. She's paying all of the bills, because women are way more lonely. And so they settle. Hence, their standards is in hell with the bar, because they're the ones who set the bar. Also, I've never seen a man come up on TikTok boo-hooing and crying, talking about they're turning 30 and they want some friends and they ain't got no friends. Do you know how many videos I've seen of women doing that? Oh, I lost count. But I've never seen a man be snotting, tearing up, talking about they don't have any friends and they wish they could have some friends because they're turning 30 and they don't want to spend their 30th birthday alone. So once again, that male loneliness epidemic bullshit is a lie. But the female loneliness epidemic, there's a lot of credence to that. There's a lot of facts and truth to that, because it's all over TikTok.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that these women, during their loser epidemic journey, have a lot to learn from themselves. We talk about, or Kevin Samuels, God rest his soul, used to talk about self-awareness being sexy. And one of the main things that you're seeing in the loneliness / loser epidemic that these modern women are having to drag themselves through is that they're not self-aware. They don't pay attention to their surroundings. They don't pay attention to how they present to people. They only care about themselves. People see that, specifically men, and they say, I'm not going down that road again. Bars. Either you reciprocate, either you act like you have some sense, either you start thinking critically, or this relationship is over.
You know what? Never again will I date an American woman. American women, it just seems like they have an attitude all the time, like some type of attitude, and the morals are gone, the values are gone. It's all gone. I was talking to a girl from St. Helena Island, total different views than the women here. I was talking to another girl from Nigeria, total different views from the women here. I was telling her about the women here, and she was like, oh, are you serious? Their values there is just like so different. Here, it's just like they always got an attitude. They seem to hate men. They seem to feel like you owe them something. They always got their hand out. They really don't want to do much. They want to they don't even want to fold clothes or cook or clean or do the stuff that women are, I thought was supposed to do. and they always got an attitude. Oh, it's just always something, always angry, always like demand so much more than what they put in. It's just like they want you to do, give, take, and you just give all the time. And I'm speaking from experience. Every single time I speak to a woman out of the country, total different values. The women here, never.
So lesbians are tired of dealing with women.
I know I can't be the only one. I just feel like women might not be for me. I can't be the only lesbian, stud, whatever you want to call it, that is actually getting tired of dealing with women.
I cannot believe we have finally reached a point where like lesbian women are tired of romantically dealing with women. And where do we go from here? You know, lesbians have some of the highest divorce rates amongst heterosexual and homosexual couples. They have some of the highest domestic violence rates. And it's not to say that there aren't issues that men and women face when they're interacting with each other, because obviously they do. But it's not the same type of issues. You know, dealing with a woman, man to woman, you give her a certain level of leeway and softness because she's a woman and you're a man. And so, you know, like, you're stronger than her. There's a certain level of responsibility that you innately and automatically take because you understand that that's your dynamic. But when you have two women, there is still usually a masculine and feminine role that one of you has to take on to a degree. It may not be the same way that it happens when it's a man and a woman, but it still exists. And if you're at a point where two women are like, yo, the horror stories are crazy, the cheating, the emotional and psychological warfare, because when women cut you emotionally, it's something that is indescribable. And I don't say this to say that men can't hurt women emotionally, because yes, we can. But it's most guys do not have the emotional intelligence or the general intelligence to create a story and involve emotions that pull on your heartstrings the way that women are just innately able to do so. Because when you look at a man, if he's crying and trying to gaslight you, you look at him like, you're a grown man, why are you crying? It doesn't really pull on you the way that a woman's crying and telling you that she didn't do something, or that telling you that she didn't do something, or that she really loves you, or that it was an accident. When a man does it, it just doesn't really hit the same, because that's just not our innate skill set. And so if women are at a point where they've had enough, then what comes next?
I said they would
Women has the whole value the gift of nurturing.
Whatever. They would if they were getting it.
But that's
Look at the screen.
Hold on, let me go, Sean. I got it. I'm glad she said that, and I'm glad you said it online, because this is the difference between all women. I'm not gonna say all women. I'm gonna say American women. So that's any race. I'm not gonna make it a black thing. I'm gonna say American women. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna say American women. American women dictate their feminine expression based on what men are doing. Other women from other countries are women because that's the fuck what they're going to do. And it's not predicated on an action of another man. They carry themselves as women because that's the standard they hold themselves to, period. Their nurturing and femininity is not based on what he's doing, because they feel like being feminine is of value to their own lives, regardless of what he does. That's the difference. To me, it's just my small little opinion.
Women do not know how to be friends to other women. Like, I am so convinced that women hate women, because why is it that women will give so much to a man who doesn't care about them and will drag them through the mud, but will give so little to a woman? I don't get it. Like, and it's always the good women who end up with shitty ass friends.
A lot of women are just mentally ill when it comes to dating, and someone has to say it, and well, it might as well be me. And I know this is going to trigger some of you, but this is straight up hypocritical behavior that needs to be called out. You don't want the nice guy, so instead you go for the toxic bad boy who treats you like garbage. You'd rather chase the chaos, the drama, and the challenge of trying to fix someone who clearly doesn't want to be fixed. We ignore the green flags from good guys because they feel boring or too available. Make that make sense. Then when the relationship crashes and burns, which it always does, instead of reflecting on the choices and accepting that actions have consequences, you run to your friends, run to the internet, and complain that there are no good men left. But the reality is, you literally chose this. You had options. You had the good guy right there. But
he wasn't exciting enough for you. But a lot of you would rather find out the hard way. And while you're choosing drama and toxicity over genuine love and respect, those good guys get swooped up by women who actually appreciate them. You can't reject good men and then act shocked when you're left with trash. So let's just stop blaming all men for the type of men you keep choosing. The problem isn't that good men don't exist, it's that you don't want them.
Why women are just, many women, I'm not going to say all women, but many women are very, very unrealistic about their standards for men, dating, and marriage. I'm going to give my opinion on this, and now listen, girls, I'm about to be very raw. I'm about to be very real. I'm about to just shoot it to you. I stopped matchmaking. And the reason I stopped matchmaking is because I can't handle female clients. And listen, it was such a valuable lesson for me, because what I learned is that the average woman doesn't really want just a good man. She doesn't want a husband. What she's really wanting are these standards or ideas that she has of what a man is supposed to be. But this is nothing what men are. This is not realistic. How they think, what they value, it's just this preconceived that women have of who men should be. But this is not reality.
I just feel like women shouldn't get on this app complaining about there not being any good men, when those good men that you say you want, those are the same men who will come and ask you on a coffee date just to see where your head at. And you get so offended because, oh, how dare you ask me on a coffee date, that you can shot yourself in the foot. This could be the fucking man of your dreams. But you're not going to find that out because you're too busy worried about him asking you on a coffee date. Ma'am, he just want to sit down and talk to you. He just want to see if y'all connect. He wants to see if you're worth the effort and the time and the energy. Nobody wants to put all that into a person that's not worth it. It was easier to just have these conversations up front, get on the same page, or figure out if you can be on the same page, rather than wasting years with someone just to find out y'all weren't compatible. A lot of those years that y'all be wasting could have actually been prevented if you had had a simple sit down coffee date. You ain't even got to drink no coffee. Just sit down and talk to him.
And as you can see, there are a lot of women out here starting to get it. They're starting to realize, they're starting to recognize that modern women are a modern problem, a bona fide problem. And a lot of these modern women out here are ingrained. They're brought up in the struggle of the female loser epidemic. They don't know how to get out of it. And you have quote unquote dating coaches that keep them in this long, ever growing cycle of loserness with their dumb dating strategies.
I feel like we as a society have lost the art of matchmaking, and we need to bring it back. I've been talking to my single friends, my sister, people who have been actively wanting to be in a relationship, and seeing how these Hinge and apps work is so overstimulating. It's so overwhelming. There's so many people on there. Rarely any of these dates make it to a second date, if a date at all, because all of these men just want to text for weeks before actually asking a woman on a date. And all my girls want to do is meet someone like in the wild, like meet them in person. Like, can someone come up to me at the gym, at the driving range, like places where men should be approaching women. But of course, TikTok has actively probably scared men from approaching women at these public places because they think they're going to get embarrassed. Like, maybe a woman doesn't want to be approached there, whatever. I recently told my sister, I was like, I wish I could just like take applications and like sift through them, because I know exactly what you like and I know exactly what you want, and then present you a man who probably wants who you are as well. And that's literally matchmaking. I think having like a personal touch and having, the best relationships are like, oh, I have a friend who I know that you are going to get along great with. Let me introduce you. That's like your matchmaking. I think that we need to bring back like personalized matchmaking where someone gets to know, the client. What are your hopes and dreams? What do you want in a partner? And then they can go and talk to other people and say, what are your hopes and dreams? What do you want in a partner? And then put them on a date together and see what happens. I feel like we've lost that art as a society and we need to bring it back. And I'm literally about to start taking applications for my sister because I swear I know her so well, I can find her the perfect match. I could do it.
Women who get the most hate from other women are women who are in relationships and marriages. I am convinced that women hate men so much to where they will completely demean and pick apart a woman that absolutely loves her. You will be called pick-me's, you will be called stupid, you will be called everything in the world just because a single woman hates men so bad. Let's not even talk about the vile things that they will say about your spouse, right? And please keep in mind, all this is just coming from their own hatred and just simply because they hate men. They hate men so much. They will literally bully you out of your relationship. They will say the worst things possible to make you think that your man doesn't love you. Your man doesn't care about you. You need to go. You know, he's treating you wrong. He's cheating on you. They will say everything in the world, right? Look at the Halle Bailey and DDG situation. When she was with him, y'all completely picked that woman apart. Y'all completely said the worst vile things about her, all because she was with him. But then the moment the relationship ended, those same women that spoke vile about her are those same women that praised her. Y'all praised her after she left. And y'all do that to a lot of women. I can name a lot of women that on this internet that I have seen, they get bullied because they are with a man. Y'all are disgusting. And it's always the same single bitter women. Always the same women. Y'all literally regurgitate the same exact thing. So anyways, I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole, but I'm going to just say this. Any woman that's in a relationship and absolutely loves her man, loves her husband, whatever the case may be, don't let these bitter women, whether it's in real life or on the internet, bully you from leaving your man. That is your man. That is your relationship. You choose and you do whatever you see fit. Because those same women that's bitter and talking crap about you, 4 or 5 time baby mamas, they got so much stuff to say. I digress. But anyways, single women keep women single, and women will literally bully you because you are happy, healthy, thriving in a relationship, all because they absolutely hate men. Y'all love to call any woman who desires a romantic relationship male-centered. Anyone who is actively dating or talking about dating, you love to call male-centered. I think you guys need to be able to tell the difference that someone desiring romantic relationship and sharing their life with someone, not a bad person. Doesn't mean they don't have things outside of that are interesting. Doesn't mean that they don't have any value outside of that or they view themselves only valuable attached to a man. But it is a very normal human thing to desire relationship, to desire have someone witness your life with you. And I think it's weird how, especially other women, making other women feel bad for the fact that they simply desire partnership. I think male-centered women, they can sometimes talk about it a lot, turn to let crappy men be above people who treat them well, above their family, above their friends. That's a different thing. They would leave everyone and everything just to have that male partnership. Difference between that and a woman who simply desires to be loved, to be known in a romantic setting. We often hear these things regurgitated over and over, and we put it as basically religion for us. Oh yeah, you talk about dating a lot, you're a male-centered woman. I would never be around you. That's not the same thing. I have a hard time when I see women crucify other women for the simple fact they want to be with someone. Being a mom at home, having a traditional lifestyle, you guys can be so judgmental about other women making other choices for themselves. And it feels weird to me. If you should support a woman that is going to the workforce, not have children, decide to be single the rest of their life, you should support them as much as you support a woman who stays at home with their kids and that's what they decide for their life. Beautiful thing right now is that we have the most rights we've ever had as women. For the most part, you know, people are trying to take those away. You have the choice to choose. And the fact is a lot of women that I see online will only support and celebrate the women who choose differently. Like the beauty of it right now is that
You have the choice to choose both. We demonize the women who choose traditional lifestyles and the fact of like staying home, all that stuff, compared to the women who choose the lifestyle that people before us couldn't have chosen for themselves. Don't like the divide. I don't like the demonization of women who simply just desire to be married. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think being a stay-at-home mom is a beautiful thing. I think being a successful career woman making your own money is a beautiful thing. You need to stop thinking of this person is valuable more to us than this one, or this one's bad because they chose this.
And here we've unlocked another facet of the female loser epidemic, where single women continue to want to keep women single. A woman could be in a relationship or out of a relationship. It really doesn't matter to these modern women. They want to keep women single. They think that women are better off single. That way we can get together, be miserable together, talk crap all day, and then say, oh, we're boss babes. We're really doing it. We're out here building up the world. Go matriarchy, down with the patriarchy. And when you zoom out and look at the things that they've done, you see they've done absolutely nothing. And that's why you're seeing a lot of programs around colleges and universities having to do with gender studies shutting down, because it is not a program that actually makes sense. It's a nice to have. It does not need to be an entire program. If you want to say, okay, if you want to learn about gender studies, take this course as an elective or something. Maybe you have part 1 and part 2, but this is not a whole entire study that's going to help people do anything, progress. Like I said, maybe you take it as part of a history course or something like that if you're teaching, and maybe you want to incorporate some of that in your school. Hey, you know, today this month is Women's History Month, and we want to take a look at some of the things that women have endured in order to get to where they've gotten, and some of the fights and struggles that they've had. So you can thank that very special lady in your life. So when you go home and you talk to your mother or your grandmother or your aunt, you have a special appreciation for them. And today, I know you all love your mother and your sister, but today you can go home and you can buy them something or hug them a little bit tighter and let them know that they're special and how much you love them. Okay, so let's get class started. If you want to do that, but it does not need to be an entire program because it's a waste of time. And as we can see, there are a lot of modern women who have taken these courses and they have come out as part of the female loser epidemic.
Women complain about the modern dating market and how unsafe it is. They talk about guys ghosting, sleeping with multiple women at the same time, lying about how much money they make and not being consistent. It's funny how they complain when it is their fault that dating is how it is in the first place. Men were perfectly fine with knocking on a woman's front door, asking her father to take her on a date. Men were fine with courting a woman, and men were fine with waiting for sex until marriage. But women called all of that patriarchy and dismantled the entire dynamic with feminism. Now we are left with the dumpster fire that is modern day dating. 80% of women want 20% or less of men, and those men have a ton of options. Of course, women hate when things don't go their way or when they have to take an L, so they do whatever it takes to shame men into not doing the things they used to be able to get away with when they were young and hot.
All right, hot take, and I feel like I'm gonna get some hate on this, but here it goes. I feel like the reason why some modern men lack basic social skills when it comes to pursuing and keeping a girl is due to the feminist movement. Hear me out. I feel like a lot of mothers, especially back in like the 80s, early 90s, I just feel like they raised their sons having them to expect that women are gonna just do it all on their own. Like that was just like prime boss babe era. Think of like Miranda Hobbs from Sex and the City, like that type of energy, you know? So tradition to them is like completely foreign. It's like their mothers raised them, probably not intentionally, but just, you know, raised them thinking like, okay, I'm just gonna expect my future wife to be like this and, you know, be a go-getter, be a boss babe and put her career first and, you know, stand up for what she believes in, but like in a way where it's like, oh, Now, plot twist, I actually do believe that the feminist movement, the women who originally started it, they meant well. I really do believe that their intentions were pure and their heads were, they're doing it for the right reasons. But you have to admit it went a little far, because now look what we ended up with.
I'm not saying you should date these men personally. Yeah. I always wondered when you guys say this, what happens to the communication before you get to the actual date? Because you guys make it sound like this guy showed up and now he's just big bad monster. But weren't you guys sexting? Weren't you guys like getting to know each other? Weren't you guys communicating ahead of time before you got to the date?
Now, before they continue, I think what the other guy was saying made perfectly good sense. Like, are you just meeting these people one day and then y'all set up a date and you go? Or are y'all having conversations like, back in the day, like you would have a conversation with a person, several phone calls, and you talk every day, and before you even meet up to go on a date, like how are they doing it? Sometimes I think a lot of times when it comes to dating now, they just jump right in. The same way they, will get flued out with a man they've never met. So I just think a lot of times they're not really having these conversations. They're not really talking a whole lot. They're just either texting here and there or inboxing each other on Instagram or whatever, but they're not really having these full conversations about what it is that you like and where do you go to eat or what type of dish you like. They're just going and showing up, and then it's somebody you totally don't like you've never had a conversation with them. So are they building up the conversations before they go out, or are you just going out with random dudes and figuring out their creeps once you get there? That was a good question that I think they kind of bypassed. That was a good question, but let's continue.
But you have to take some type of accountability for the fact of leading a man on without any proper expectations being set. So if you tell this man, or whether the man got it or not, right? Men care about their investments, whether it's a person or a business, right? So once you have a man now, he's starting to invest in you, he cares about his investment, and you are a part of that. Right.
But investment takes risk, and that's what she's saying.
Yeah,
is that you should understand the risk of I might ball out, meaning you as a man should make a decision. I'm willing to max out $600 no matter what. If she walks away and says, F you, I'm willing to invest the same way you would if you invested in a property.
But I think women have to take accountability as well. If you do go out on a date with a guy and you're not feeling him, don't allow him to spend all this money on you. Stop him. That way there's no obligation. There's no obligation to you or him where he won't feel like he's been duped or that he took a risk. I think if you don't like the person, don't just sit there and let them do all of that. And I think a lot of women do that. They know they don't like a guy and they just let him go all out. They don't care. It's like, hey, you gonna spend money on me or whatever, and you let him do it, and then you walk away and you don't think that he's gonna feel some kind of way. Oh, that's just your loss.
And as part, once again, of the female loser epidemic, thank you, Dee Dee, for your reaction, by the way. As part of the female loser epidemic, they will think that they are in the right for allowing this stuff to go on. Modern women, as part of the female loser epidemic, do not understand that while you might be doing these things now, this type of bad behavior will catch up with you later. As she mentioned, you have to take accountability. Accountability.
You have the accolades, but not the aura. In this video, I'm going to show you a clip from Pop the Balloon. And I want this to be a really important lesson in what I always talk about when I say you can be a woman who is a high achieving woman, a woman with a lot of accolades, a woman who has done a lot in her life, and feel like you are a good catch. You feel like you're a good catch. Your friends will tell you that you're a good catch, but how you present yourself and your aura is literally pushing away good men of character, men you think are on your level and should choose you. Okay, so I'm gonna insert the clip. I want you guys to listen to the clip, and then I'm gonna come back in and I'm gonna finish it. Okay.
These two were vibing and feeling each other until this happened.
So, is it a yes for you for him? It's a yes. Okay. Yeah. And is it a yes for you for her?
I'm sorry, no. His reason will shock you.
When you said earlier that you have a nonprofit and it's going to Africa, it only bothers me because Africa is so big. Please explain what you mean by that.
Of course. So when I was in Ghana more recently, I got a whole bunch of people to send some money, and I put my money together, and then we fed 1,000 homeless children in Accra, Ghana.
Okay.
And I felt so good about that. That's why I'm working on the nonprofit now. So I'm going to go to like different countries and do that. Because like I said, I'm a backpacker. I travel to different countries anyway. So this way I can leave something there and help people out.
I love that. Now, what city did you say you're from in America?
I'm from Cambridge.
Cambridge,
you know where
Massachusetts.
Yeah, where Harvard University is.
Yeah.
From the
I got people in my family that are Ivy Leaguers.
Okay,
I'm an HBCU type of chick. Howard, you know what's up.
Okay,
But
I went to NSU for 1 year in Virginia.
fair enough.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that. But my thing is, maybe Cambridge doesn't have too many people with that are under the poverty line, but do you help with American starving kids too?
Well, to be honest, where I'm from in Cambridge, it's not from the people that got money and stuff like that. People don't realize that in Cambridge and anywhere, you still have people that are under the poverty line. So I don't come from that, you know. I come from essentially a broken home. I lost my father when I was 9 years old, and so my mother took care of things and stuff like that when I was younger. And inside Cambridge, there's about 10 to 12 project homes. So, yeah.
I hear that. I lost my dad too when I was a kid, so I understand.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, may our fathers rest in peace.
Amen.
A few moments later.
All right. Any questions? Just one, if you guys got one.
I think you asked really good questions, and now I'm on the spot, so maybe you'll ask a question. I think so.
Okay, do I have any other questions?
If you don't have one either, don't worry about it, guys.
How old did you say you was?
I'm 32.
You're 32? And how come you don't have children, or is it just because you haven't found someone because you're busy traveling? Like,
I'm just very careful. I don't play about bloodline stuff. I'm not just letting anybody mess up what I got going on. And so, like, he has to be the right kind of person, the kind of person who understands family ties, who understands what it means to celebrate 20, 30 years of marriage, 60 years of marriage. And so that's very important to me. So once we locked in, baby. So that's what it is.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna ask my final question now, y'all. Okay. So, is it a yes for you for him?
I think so. It's a yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it a yes for you for her?
I'm sorry, no.
Oh no. Why is it a no?
Well, she's cool. Like, you're very cool, and you gave very good answers. And it's like cookie cutter to like my life and stuff. But I just don't see it in the future with us. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, I just can't absolutely see it in the long run.
Okay.
But you're an amazing woman. You made it to the last, you know, so out of the people here for the lineup, you're very great. I just don't see me with you for the long haul.
Understood.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So as you can see, right, the part you didn't see is that he popped everybody else's balloon, including the runner-up balloon, except for her balloon. Her balloon was the one he didn't pop. He popped the short, light-skinned girl's balloon who had long braids or whatever, right? Which you ladies will always say, oh, he's choosing light-skinned, he's choosing white women. This lady was a tall, brown-skinned woman, right? With, I think she had dreadlocks that was in twists or something like that, right? Tall, beautiful woman, right? Beautiful woman. She's 32 years old. Her name is Des, right? So because of the travel and everything, you can tell they had a lot in common. They spoke. It was good. When she was vulnerable about her, wanting to have somebody in her life, he was vulnerable as well. Look, she drew him in. That's what I'm talking about, vulnerability, right? She drew him in. He was vulnerable with her too. And then he was like, I think at that moment, he was like, yeah, I think this is her. Then all of a sudden, self-sabotage. She will be relentless. After that, there was 3 key moments that made her say, this is it. One of the key moments was when she asked about his, he said Africa, right? Generally speaking, Africa, because he did some things in Ghana. In fact, raised money to help 1,000 poor kids. Right? And he said that, right? She was like, your use of the word Africa, when, Africa's a continent. I understand that, but this is not the few moments you have right now is not the moment to correct him and try to get the details. When you guys go on a date, you can find out if he's knowledgeable or not. He told you he travels. He named the different places where he travels, right? And this is not the fake travelers. Like, he travels everywhere. He named all the places that they've been to, similar to her. Then another one, she's like, where are you from? He goes, Cambridge. She assumes, making a ASS out of herself, that he must have grown up with a silver spoon. He was like, actually, no. In Cambridge, there are parts that are low income. Because she then had a nasty attitude that she had the nerve to say, well, do you help anybody in America? So wait, so him helping people in Africa is all of a sudden a problem, but now you want to find the problem. This is why there's no peace. He's never going to choose you because y'all are difficult and y'all don't listen. Y'all don't understand what peace is. You are not a peaceful woman. You are a woman who has to find something wrong with him. She then says, oh, well, are you helping anyone, in America? Since when have we said that? Since when have we ever said that? Since when have we said that? Isn't America a first world country where people in Africa would love to be homeless in America? What are we talking about? You're homeless, and this is not, if you come into this comments with some nonsense, I'm literally gonna block you. I don't have the time for it. She needed to find, listen to me, because some of you are like this and y'all don't listen. You don't know how you're coming across. You don't realize how you're coming across. You think you sound smart, and all you do, you sound exhausting. And then when they go to somebody that's more peaceful, you're like, oh, they want something easier. No, they don't want your crazy self trying to find problems where there is no problem. I don't want to deal with you. I can't even imagine a man that wants to deal with you. And a lot of y'all are not going to like that. Oh, Queen, it's not Queen, you're always anything. You don't check yourself. Calm down a little. Take it down a notch. What are you fighting him for? What are you fighting for? You know what it is? It's the subconscious need to prove that you're better than. Well, have you done this? Well, have you done that? I'm from HBCU. Shut up and get off the stage because y'all very, very annoying. Very, very annoying. This is how you self-sabotage relationship with great men, and then you come on this app and you hate them, and then you blame them for choosing other people. You are too difficult. You don't listen and you don't have the right aura. Now, here's the thing. A lot of you are not going to like what I'm saying. But that's the problem. The problem is your girlfriends who you don't act like this with won't correct you because this is not the experience she has with you as a girl. But this is what the men experience with you in a romantic relationship. Of course, you don't act like this, like a fool when it comes to your girlfriend. You're like, girl, where are we going to? So her experience of you is like, oh, you're a great catch. You're not a great catch. And somebody needs to tell you guys that just like that. You are actually not a great catch. You are a headache. And to a man who's established, hell no, he doesn't want to deal with your ass.
And she said a lot, and she really dissected what happened there. You can see there at the end, he was unsure about her. He liked her, thought she was beautiful. She's, like she says, she's tall. She's, a little bit darker skinned, and is very well spoken, has the accolades to go to the next round on a date, maybe a second date with somebody else who didn't have the chance to maybe ask questions like he did. But this is what I'm saying. Men are slowing down. They're asking questions, and then they're sitting back and thinking, what type of girl is this? Excuse me, what type of woman is this? What would she say? What would she do? How would she act on a daily basis? Right? Because we can see in the moment how she's acting. She's presenting very well. I love that. Fantastic. But how is she going to act on a daily basis? Is it going to work for myself? Is it going to work for her? And the conclusion he came to was no, it's not. And this is troublesome for modern women who are a part of the loser epidemic, because they think they can say a couple things. They think that they can wear a certain dress and everything would be great. But then they're finding out that, wait a minute, I actually have to have some substance. Wait a minute, I actually have to say something that makes sense, because he's going to be listening and dissecting what I'm saying. And if I don't pass the test, I'm not going on the date.